Okay, thank you. Just get that queued up there. Awesome. Right. We wanted to actually, we want to thank the board for having us present this month. We appreciate this opportunity. And we wanted to actually present and talk about our TOPS class, which stands for Team-Oriented Problem Solving. And this is actually, I can click or you can. This is actually our 12th year teaching TOPS. So it's been 12 years. It was actually 13 years ago. I was here at the board presenting to the board this idea of having a class actually to kind of think out of the box. If you think back 12 years ago, we were just starting up with No Child Left Behind, standards, kind of boxing kids in and how they think, test prep, things like that. We wanted to go in the opposite direction. We believe in whole child and promoting whole child. And TOPS definitely caters to that. It's a 9-week course. Every 8th grader goes through this course by the end of the school year. We focus on logic building exercises, having kids think outside the box, open-ended inquiry, kind of discovering the problem. Working together using multiple skills. If we think about just about any kind of profession, we're working with other people. So that's what TOPS is about, working with others, people at varying different skill bases, and coming to solutions as a result. The teacher, as a result, is the facilitator in that process. And Mrs. Morosco is here to talk about what she's going to be doing, which has been doing in TOPS. And she facilitates that process in the classroom. This is, Angela is actually her 2nd year teaching with Canon-McMillan and her 2nd year teaching TOPS. She's the ideal candidate for this position. She has a strong math base. She's a math teacher. Many of the problems in TOPS is math is the vehicle to kind of deliver the problem, but it takes multiple skills to solve that problem. But what we wanted to focus on is actually what Angela is bringing to TOPS this school year, and that's coding. It's a natural fit for TOPS, and it was introduced last year. She had some hour code where she had the students using code in the TOPS classroom. We just found it to be a natural fit. And I happened to come across these Spheros through some professional learning. And these Sphero bots, this is how we deliver the coding. The kids use the code. And actually a simple ball like this, they learn coding and programming through this. So the company was actually gracious enough to give us one of these. I asked Angela if she would kind of explore some ideas over the summer. She did, and she actually came up with a nice 2-week unit. What would you say?
Maybe 3 weeks.
3 weeks of coding involving the Spheros. I'm also happy to let you know that what we're doing with the coding and TOPS will be featured in the Association of Middle Level Education National Publication in April. It'll be a feature article in their publication. So that's nationally going to be recognized. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Ms. Angela Morosco.
Hello, thank you. Hi. So before we talk about these very interesting Sphero robots, the first thing I like to tell my students is the reason why we study coding, and it's because of some of these statistics I'm about to show you. And you can see sort of blurry on the bottom of the graph is the years. So the final year is 2020. And what it shows there is that there's going to be 1 million more jobs in computer programming than there are people that are studying that field. So we need our students to be trained in that area. Also, this shows us the students that are studying math and science. So that's on the right side, all the students. And that really small blue part is how many of them are studying computer science. But unfortunately, that small blue part has to fit into that 60% of the jobs. So what we're trying to do is increase that 2% so that more students want to study coding so that we can fill the rest of those 60% jobs. So that's part of the reason why we're doing this. The students use the Sphero like we showed you, and it's connected to a tablet through a Bluetooth connection. So I have 2 here to show you. This one is blinking because I turned it on, and this is the traditional one. The other one here is the one that you can kind of see the inner workings of it. So there's the two different types. The students know that once they connect to one of the apps, which the one I'll highlight here is Macro Lab, once it connects, the sphere will stop blinking and it's going to turn blue. And what they see on the app is what you can see up there on the screen. So there's a list of commands. They can choose what they want the Sphero to do. So do they want it to roll, stop, do they want it to change colors? There's more commands, but they continue on the bottom where you can't see from the picture. After they select one of those commands, they can then choose what exactly they want it to do. So if you pick roll, you can see on the right, you choose what speed you want it to go, how far, and then for how long. This helps the students, we incorporate math concepts so they see how speed, time, and distance are going to relate to each other. They see that if you cut your speed in half, you have to double your time to go just as far. So they're applying those math skills in a real life setting with Macro Lab. Okay, I want to highlight just two lessons that we do. And the first one, they do a bowling lesson, and the students create a bowling course that looks similar to what I have on the screen. And we use cups as bowling pins, and the students need to write a code in their Sphero to have the Sphero knock over all of those cups. We have adapted a kind of a circle that represents the Sphero to help the students know how to make it change direction. Because once you say, you go and you hit 3 of your cups, well now it has to turn and go the other way. So this helps the students to know which direction to go. With it being a circle, the different directions are in degrees. So forward is 0 degrees. If you want to go backwards, it's 180 degrees. So we have these circles that they can use to kind of help them to problem solve and work through what their course is. The neat thing is it gives them almost a practice in like an engineering skill, because I tell them to try what they have done and then revise it. So what worked and what didn't, how can I make some changes, how can we make it work better? So everyone's going to end up with a different course with different ideas, so it really shows them that there's multiple approaches, multiple ways to solve the problem. Another lesson that we do, the students are posed with a problem, and the problem is that if someone's hard of hearing, they're not able to be alerted of an emergency. I ask them, if there's a fire in the building, how do we know? Well, there's a loud sound that goes off. What if someone can't hear? What are they going to do? Well, there's some flashing lights, but what if they don't notice those flashing lights? So we can use our Sphero to code different levels of emergency. So they have 3 different levels. The first level, I give them instruction of what I'm looking for, but it's very open-ended. They can be creative with how they think someone will best be alerted. So the first level, I want them to use color. Second level, use color and movement. And the third level, use color, movement, jumping, and spinning to alert the person. So I have one example code of what someone could put in here. So it's blinking right now. As soon as it turns blue, it'll show that's connected.
And each group has one of these Samsung tablets. It's just a simple tablet. You can use an iPad if you wanted. You can use your phone if you wanted. But the apps are free to download.
So actually, we're connected to that one. So I connected both of these on here. So it's this one that we're connected to. So we'll see this one. And this would be an example of level 1. So you would see it just change color. So if you can watch it, it's blinking and fading some different colors. So this would be an example of what the students would do for the first level. And they can be creative with their colors. I asked them, well, what color do you think would most signify an emergency? Some of them will say red, or some of them will say blue. I'll see them develop some sort of a flashing, so making the colors fade. So they really create their own ideas as they're going through these different levels. So that's everything I have for the Sphero and for TOPS. I appreciate your time, and thank you very much for your attention.
We've been collecting survey data this year, and based on the data, Angela's tweaked some things, but you can really get an idea of some of how the students entered in, what they were thinking programming coding was, and then when they leave out, and this is something I'd like to explore further, maybe at high school or above. So that's what we want to do: intrigue, introduce, and spark that interest to just give them an idea of this is something they can do and explore further when they get up to the high school and beyond. That's the whole idea of it, and doing it in a fun way, doing it cooperatively. And again, it fits naturally with TOPS. Major kudos to Angela, what she's doing. Again, her second year at Canon-McMillan, and she's doing an outstanding job. So major kudos.
This is the
I got
last
to
of
see
what
that class. It was
board-
fantastic.
Well, you don't know what good work you're doing. That chart was great about the jobs outpacing, or demand outpacing the jobs. I read something like 2 weeks ago. Facebook just exceeded the value of ExxonMobil as the third largest company in the world, followed by Apple and Google. All technology companies. And so, when you see the manufacturing sector in America and you kind of look at it, the opportunities are tremendous. And I think it's wonderful that you're, first of all, you're challenging kids to try to put things together and not have them connected on a phone, but the opportunity. So thanks. Great job.
Good job.
On behalf of the board, we want to thank you so much for your dedication, and I don't know how much extra time you put in on this
A lot.
to do what you do, and we really appreciate that very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone's welcome to visit. Mr. Cap visited a few months ago, so if you want to visit TOPS classroom, feel free to stop by.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Presentation.
Thank you.
Michael, you want to take recognition, please?
Yes. Our next item on the agenda, I'm proud to introduce to you Nathan Maines, the Executive Director of the Pennsylvania School Boards Association, who drove directly here from a late afternoon meeting, directly from Harrisburg. And I'm just going to kind of turn it over to you for a moment, if you would.
Thank you. Well, I was hoping to come out today and tell you all that the budget passed and our worries.
You try if
I can't
not.
report that. We're still having some trouble in Harrisburg, and certainly after I make a presentation, if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer those. But the reason I came out today is to present a service award. We present service awards across the Commonwealth to folks recognizing their longevity and service to school boards. I like to point out that, and all of you know it, of course, but for the audience, school board directors are unpaid elected officials in the state. They give tremendous amounts of time and energy to serve their communities, and it's just a small token of our appreciation on behalf of all school directors across the Commonwealth that we present these service awards. So tonight I'm here to present an 8-year service award to Joseph Hansick of your board, not only out to honor his 8 years of service, but to thank you all for loaning him to us. For those of you that don't know, Joe is on the governing board of PSBA. This is his second go-round. So apparently we didn't wear him down enough the first time. He came back, and he's been just a tremendous asset to the board. He also serves as the regional director, and on top of everything else, he was just recognized by being appointed to a state advisory board under House Resolution 540 that's taking a look across the Commonwealth at discipline policies, regulations, and laws, and have about 6 months to report back to the House of Representatives. So he is the only school director that was appointed to this position from across the Commonwealth. A tremendous honor for Joe, for this school board, this school district, and PSBA is so proud that we have a representative there on behalf of school districts. So without further ado, Joe, congratulations on 8 years of service to your school board.
Appreciate that. If I could just say for one moment, you thank the people up here for loaning me the PSBA, but my wife is like right there. So I'm sure that she more than anyone puts up with all of my volunteer activities. As Nathan said, one of the things that a lot of people don't realize is that all school board members across the state, 4,500, are unpaid members that serve their communities. And in this year and a half, where we have had these budget problems in Harrisburg, I think it's very important to understand that tonight's 7, but usually 9 people that sit around this table do our jobs for no pay. We come up with budgets on time. We face hard decisions, whether it be how much to pay teachers or how much to raise taxes or what buildings to build. We do it all for no pay. And if we can come here every single month and do our jobs for no pay and get our budget done on time, then certainly the people in Harrisburg that are being paid not to do their jobs should get their jobs done. So I didn't want to necessarily make this a political statement, but
Not at all.
you know, we all volunteer our time, and I want to thank Nathan for coming out. As those of you know, and we've had a stable board here that's had the same people for quite some time. PSBA has been going through a lot of different changes, reorganization, and Nathan has headed up and involved with all things that involve change. Some of it has been easier, some of it has not been so easy, and especially last year with the sale of our insurance entity, it was especially difficult. Tonight we're passing and we're signing off on the Principles for Governance and Leadership, which is a PSBA initiative that Mr. Caparizzo was part of drafting. And just one last thing, one of the things that we stress at PSBA is how good governance, performance, standards, in the boardroom drive student achievement. And that's what this is all about. This is about creating boards that act in a ethical, responsible, transparent way in order to better educate our kids. So I want to thank you for coming out, Nathan, and many years.
Congratulations. Thank you for passing this tonight. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Great job.
Thanks again for making the trip. That's special. So this next item, and I see a couple people are here to hear and be part of this presentation. The high school has received the distinction of being included on the 6th annual AP District Honor Roll for 2015. The high school is one of 425 schools across the U.S. and Canada to have received this distinction. And simultaneously, it's achieving increases in access to AP classes for a broader number of students. And they've also maintained or improved the rate at which their AP students earn scores of 3 or higher on an AP exam. It's really a big deal, and not only are we honored that our students have the opportunity to participate in these classes at this level, but the talented teachers who delivered the instruction to them to get them to this level. It's really great, and congratulations to you. What I'd like to do is hand you this banner, and I think Mr. Helinski might have something to say about it as well. And I want you to proudly display this wherever you choose, but make sure that it's noticeable to anybody who comes close to that building.
Don't let Maureen use as a wall hanger.
Got it.
You have some.
Yeah, and I would like to say a couple things real quickly if I could. if you
Yeah,
don't mind.
I know they want to get a picture. Too,
Okay.
So I want you
Okay.
to hold this thing, stand up, and that moment.
Real quickly, because I appreciate the time that everybody is here, and I'll move fast. I wrote some things down so I don't ramble, but there are certain things I want to say about this. First of all, because I've got the middle school administrators in the room, and I've got some elementary teachers here, none of it happens without you guys. We have, in my estimation, probably two of the greatest middle school administrators I've ever worked with in the room, and that's 30 years of education. Okay. I want to thank them. I want to thank Greg and Ken for pushing everybody at that level to the higher degree. Our elementary staff, our principals push their people and their students to a higher degree. When they get to us, they're just kind of ready to launch a little further. So we appreciate that. I want to say thank you to Michael Daniels. I want to thank this board. Again, I've been doing this 30 years. You guys are top notch. I want to thank Joni. You guys approve, you support, and you fund our AP curriculum, as well as our PSAT testing, which is a chunk of change. But we made a decision that was something we were going to do, and that has panned out in two directions. First of all, by testing all the kids we test and making them take the test and pushing that issue, we have improved our SPP significantly. So our school performance profile continues to rise because of that. The second thing that we've done by doing that is we get a data tool that comes back to us. It's called AP Potential. And because of the PSAT scores, we see kids who might not want to take an AP class. We see that they're maybe able to do it, and we talk to them. And we say, you know what? Why don't you try this? And years ago, when I was in school, it was like you almost were talking kids out of taking APs because it was too hard and only the certain number of kids could do it. But we've really pushed the idea of having kids engage in APs based on some things that they show us on those tests, and that's the reason we've made the honor roll. I want to thank Scott. I want to thank Grace also. We are blessed to have two people who twist arms and push people at the central office level in curriculum. Scott Chambers looked at me about a year and a half ago and said, there's been an idea thrown on the floor to improve AP here. You figure out how to do it. And he held my feet to the fire. So I appreciate that. They are AP leaders and supporters here at central office. I want to thank Lori and Moyer, one of my assistant principals, and Ken Crowley. They apply every day a very strict clinical supervision model to our staff at Canon-McMillan High School, thus making our AP teachers better every day and all of our staff better every day because of their supervision. So thank you. I want to thank our AP students and their parents. Without them, obviously, we're not here. We've got parents in this community who push their kids to a higher standard. And we're very, very happy about that. We're proud of their efforts every day as we continue to set the AP bar high for ourselves and for our neighboring school districts. I want to thank our counseling staff for applying the data from our AP potential feedback from our PSAT testing. I want to thank them for looking at the kids and selecting and pushing kids to do their best. In particular, I want to thank our AP coordinator, Mrs. Karen Rubican, who gets a very small stipend from the AP College Board every year to do the hours and hours and hours of work that she does to organize our AP scores. I also want to thank her predecessor, Mrs. Morella Kazos McConnell, for the years, time, and effort that they both put forth in making this happen tonight. Excellence is not an accident, and those two ladies have pushed it. Last but not least, I want to thank the people who make AP happen at Canon-McMillan High School each and every day. Sometimes on Saturdays, sometimes on Sundays, holidays, and nights. And the reason I say that, if you remember a couple years ago, and some of these people have done it as well, but Frank Zuzik took my keys off me every Friday for 6 weeks in a row because we had like 9,000 snow days. And he brought kids in on Saturdays and Sundays and taught them chemistry and made them ready for the test because they wouldn't have been ready. So these folks go out of their way to do those kinds of things, and I appreciate that. I have with me tonight a representation of our large AP staff from high school. I'm going to ask them to stand up real quickly. I just would like them to introduce themselves and tell you what courses they teach so you can maybe put a face with a name, okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, stand up and let's get down the line.
Okay. My name is Cindy Liss, and I teach AP French Language and Culture.
My name is Pauline Yarbrough, and I teach AP Spanish Language and Culture.
Hi, I'm Maggie Sisson. I teach AP Music Theory.
Natalie Montini, I teach AP World History. I'm Dana McGrath, and I teach AP Chemistry.
I'm Kelly Brownlee, and I teach the AP Calculus classes.
Gentlemen.
I'm sorry, Chris V. I teach AP European History.
Matt Hirons, AP Literature and Composition.
And again, this is about half. We have 16 AP courses at high school, so about half of our folks were able to be here tonight. And I wanted to recognize them, and I want you to see them. They're the best of the best, and they do a good
Really
job.
proud.
We have actually some teachers in the room here. I know Kelly Brown is one of them. I don't want to forget anybody, but Kelly has had a very outstanding distinction the last couple of years. Every student in Calculus AB, BC, thank you. Calculus, no, you didn't know, I didn't. Calculus BC scoring a 5, which is the ultimate score on the test. Obviously, bright kids, great kids, but great teachers, and that's critical. In conclusion, I just want to let you know these are the people that are the fuel that keeps the AP machine running at Canon-McMillan High School on a daily basis. This award is at its base level a great testament to great teachers, great students, great parents, and great staff. And we have all of that and more here at Canon-Mac. We create futures here in our district, and our AP program is one way that we help our students have futures that are exceptional. Thank you again for having us here tonight, honoring us with this great presentation. We are very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, we'll get. Guys, are we going to try to do this in here, or you want us to go out there?
You know what? Ask the photographer first. I'm not going to.
Anybody? Let's go out there. Yeah, well, they can get all the meeting. We'll be good to go.
So we want to put it at the back of the table and do it back there.
I'm sorry.
Maybe you can do it back there, back in the boardroom.
Lauren, ask Amanda if she wants to come back here and do it against the back wall.
We'll move over.
Amanda, come on in here. Come on in. Let's do it in here.
Everybody.
Be quick, be quick. Sorry. We need some
Everybody's public.
Come on around.
Yeah.
Put a sphere out, tell us what happened.
Everybody left, so.
Mr. Howard volunteered.
Right.
The band.